We're gonna and we're also gonna go live in the group. Real closers should be live now. All right. All right, guys, welcome back to another training. We do this every week, every Thursday at 12. And the goal is for you to take something away with you so you can, execute and start getting more business. Today we have a special guest, Alfred Galvan. He has been a listing agent for quite a bit, but I'm gonna actually let him introduce himself. Alfred, why don't we start with just tell us who you are now, but also give us a little bit of a background as to how you got into where you are right now. Like, what did you do before, and where are you at right now in your real estate career?
All right, you guys can hear me?
Yep. Can you
Okay.
type
Well,
a one if
hello,
you can? Okay, good, good.
hello everyone. I will be turning on my camera very, very soon. So great question, Robert. Before I got into real estate, believe it or not, I used to be a chef. I used to cook for almost 20 years. I was working for Wolfgang Puck in Hollywood and several restaurants. I also was, believe it or not, you probably were my client. I used to be a nightclub promoter. So I used to promote nightclubs and at night and during the day I was uh I was cooking for people. So what do those two jobs have in hand? Service, right? So coming from a place of service, servicing people in the night, servicing people in the day. And one thing led to another. I had a good friend of mine that said, "Hey, I think you'll be good in real estate." And I'm like, real estate? What is that? That's boring. Long story short, he showed me a couple checks. 2 weeks later, I was working for him doing my internship while I was still at the restaurant and still doing nightclubs. So it's been a long road, but I'm here now. And now it's time to give back, right? I'm in a position where I was able to be successful right away, just getting the right mentorship, working with the right people, um, showing up, practicing scripts and role play. I mean, everything that you guys are doing now, you just got to do more of it, right? That is the main thing. You got to do more. You got to take massive action. And yeah, this is where I'm at now. But I can't wait to share my success with you guys.
Thank you, Alfred, for that quick introduction. And it's interesting to see. I've known Alfred for a few years now, and I've been on actual live calls and some of the training that he's going through. Alfred has a very strict process and structure that he follows daily in order to get where he's at right now. And what he said is something that it really resonates, and it should resonate with everybody, right? Depending on where you are now in your business to where you want to be, at the end of the day, if you're consistent enough, and if you put in the work, if you execute, and if you follow a plan, you will be successful. And Alfred today is going to share with us exactly what he does to get 3 to 5 listing appointments a week and how he actually closes those appointments. Um, Alfred, why don't you just share a couple stats as to where you are right now in your business? How many deals are you closing more or less in the last 6, 12 months? Listing appointments, listing closings. And not only are you doing that, but you're also coaching other agents as well, correct?
Yeah, you can hear me? I
Yeah,
made it.
loud and
I'm in
clear.
front of the computer now, guys. I'm here in my space shuttle.
You didn't have to dress up for the live today.
I actually was at, it's funny you say that. The reason why I was running like, what, 7 minutes late to be in front of you guys, I went to I want to say an event, small, intimate seminar. And that's another thing, right? You also, I strongly advise you guys to try to attend some type of training, some type of seminar, anything that's around you guys, because you need mentorship. right, Robert? We can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Everybody,
Okay.
type of one
So
if you have questions.
so you guys are gonna have to, no matter how we dive in deep, at the end of the day, you still need mentorship. And I heard you say earlier, Robert, how's my schedule? How do I obtain all these listings, et cetera, et cetera? So let me dive in deep. So number one, you have to have systems in place. You have to have discipline. You have to be committed. And it's very hard because life is happening for us, not to us. And a lot of things happen, right? But even if you do, I would say 70 to 80% of your schedule that you have scheduled out, it's very important to stick to that schedule, right? I'll walk you guys through my day. So basically, I've been trained that I make 3 days out of one day. So for example, I wake up at 3:45 every day. So my first day is from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's day one. Day two is 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's day two. Day three is 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now you're like, wait a minute, Alfred, how do you do 3 days in one? I just broke it down to you. Doesn't mean I don't still sleep. I go to sleep about 9 o'clock. We all, in reality, we don't need too much sleep. I know as we get older, sleep is very valuable. But right now, what we're trying to do is bend time. You have to become a time bender, because the biggest mistake agents make is, I don't have time. I don't have time for door knocking. I don't have time to call. I don't have time to lead follow up. But no, if you do not have this written down on a calendar, remember, if your calendar is empty, the devil will show up and play with you. So you have to have a calendar and you have to have a schedule. Remember, as real estate agents, what is it? Most of us here are agents, right? It's fair to say.
Correct.
Okay, as real estate agents, you're a business. The last time I heard 7-Eleven is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? You should not close your business. Same mentality, same structure. You do not close your business. And I get it. Calls are going to come in when we don't want them to call. And when is that time? When we're on the freeway, a call comes in, right? Or you're picking up your kid from school, a call comes in. Or you're putting your kids to sleep, a call comes in. It's never the right time. And it's not about reacting, it's about responding. So my advice to you guys is, we have to train ourselves, train our mind to respond to things, not react to things, right? But sometimes we can't control none of that, what's going on. So very important. One of the things that I can tell you is I follow my schedule, right? I already told you guys how I break down one day into 3 days. So for example, when I wake up between 3 and 6 o'clock, I get in my stretching, writing my goals down, because you have to have goals in this business. Because guess what? When you don't feel like prospecting and picking up this phone and making that call, go back to your goals and say, why am I doing this? Who am I doing this for? Because it's not about me, guys. You know, that's why it's very important. I'm not sure if you guys watched the movie The Bucket List, but you haven't seen it, go see it. If you were to go to your parents, right, and you were in a position to help them out and say, hey, mom, what's on your bucket list? Where would you like to go? Or what would you like to do? And if you can take care of that for them, how much joy would that bring you? Right? As agents, we're always chasing the shiny object, the brand stuff. It's not about that, guys. It's about us. It's about you. It's about your family. That's why it's very important that you stay committed, because it's going to be tough. And one thing that I can share with you guys off topic, 2023 has taught me, and I only been in the business 4 years. I became a full-time agent during COVID. I actually retired. I retired the restaurant business, not knowing about COVID. I had already retired. I was going all in, and then I heard people were turning into zombies. Just kidding. But I had retired. I'm like, we started hearing about COVID. I'm like, what the hell is COVID? Like, what is this? And long story short, to bring you guys up to speed, I had the right mentorship. I had the right mentorship. I had the right team. I was surrounded by the right people, the right environment, and me gravitating and learning from these guys that have been in the business a decade or maybe 20 years, 30 years down. I learned from them so much. I'm like, okay, what can I do right now? What resources do I have right now? And remember, when there's no resources, you either become resourceful or you go find, but you got to find a reason why to show up every day. right? So as I'm telling you guys this, you guys have to take in consideration, like, I don't like to say that I go on that many appointments because now I'm bragging, right? I'm the guy who's bragging, but it's I'm so glad to be in this call because I told Robert, like, Robert, you got to get me in there. Let me give you some nuggets for your audience. And this is how you're going to go on a lot of appointments. Besides having the great schedule, besides having system in place, you guys got to learn how to role play. Now, agents do not like to role play. And the reason they don't like to role play is because I don't want to sound like a robot. It's not about sounding like a robot, guys. The script is designed, I'll say this one more time. The script is designed to have a great conversation. Because remember, we are realtors, and your license does not say realtor. It doesn't say agent 007. It says sales professional or salesperson, right? So we need to train how to become good in sales. And scripts is part of our job. Just like an actor, right? Will Smith makes $30 million a movie. Not because he's a good-looking guy, it's because he learns his scripts, then he becomes that character, and then he looks good on screen. So should you guys. We can make as much money as we can. We actually make more money than a doctor without going to all that school. And it's all we have to do is one thing is stay committed, follow the process, and yes, don't be a jackass, be a ask, right? Ask questions, because the more questions you ask and the quality of the question, you're going to get your answer, Robert.
And I think that's very important that you say that, because a lot of people getting into the business new, they are fearful of asking questions. They go to all these different groups. There's a lot of people that are not knowledgeable about whatever subject they're asking about. And then at the end of the day, they don't get the answer they're looking for. But one of the things that you mentioned was mentorship, right? Resources. And honestly, there is no lack of resources right now. First of all, you have these weekly trainings that are open to everybody. We go live also every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Between you and me, we put together a role play clubhouse one time, and that was just one of probably 100 that are available. And all you have to do is join and start role playing with other people. There's a lot of resources out there. Yes, you may get sold on something, they may want to give you value, but take advantage of it, right? And going back to the question, there's a huge debate with a lot of agents versus, I'm not a sales agent, I'm not a salesperson, right? I'm a miracle worker. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're not selling houses, you're selling yourself as the solution. And I've been on live calls with Alfred myself, and one of the things that he mentioned right now is very important: role playing, because you don't know, actually, you do know what questions are going to pop up, right? You do know exactly what questions are going to pop up if you're calling an expired. You do know exactly what questions are going to pop up if you're calling a FISBO. But if you don't know how to answer them, and you don't know your scripts, and you don't know how to steer the conversation back into the script, you're going to fail the call. Therefore, you're going to fail the appointment setting, and you're not going to get that listing. If you're able to get through the first, what is it, 6 seconds as a male, and 7 seconds as a 10 seconds as a female, if you already got through that part, they basically open the door. All you have to do is know your script and get through that conversation.
Absolutely, Robert. There's only like, depending on who your audience is, right? If you're calling for sale by owners, I'll go down the line real quick. For sale by owners, right? We know why they're selling. The number one objection why they're selling is because they think us realtors are overpaid. And guess what, guys? I agree. We are overpaid. And the reason they're selling is because they want to save money on the commission. Or reason number two, they had a bad experience. The agent overpromised and underdeliver. That's why they don't want to hire us. They hire a third-party company, an escrow company, to deal with the paperwork. But remember, the second lead, right? Expires. I heard you say expires. Expires are beautiful. Actually, expires are my main lead sources, right? An expired listing is somebody who raised their hand and said, Robert, I want to sell. The reason why their house didn't sell is only 3 reasons, and I already know these reasons, and I'm going to share them with you. Write them down. Reason number one, it's the price of the house. The house is overpriced. Even though it's a seller's market, as agents, we need to price them strategically. Reason number two, the condition of the house. If when you went to your listing appointment and you did not put things into perspective with your seller and told them, hey, I need you to declutter the house. I need you to make the house look bigger. I need you to get rid of all those old furniture in the back. And you didn't do that. When a buyer, remember, when a first-time home buyer, for them, this is an experience. They want to show up to the house and envision themselves living there, right? That's reason number two. Number one, price. Two, condition. Number three, who can guess in the audience by raising your virtual hand? Can anybody tell me what reason number three is? And if you don't, put it in the chat. I think we all know what reason number three, why the house didn't sell. But if you don't know, raise your hand and I'm going to give you the golden nugget.
Yeah, quick hint to use a mirror.
Yeah, right? Anybody don't know the reason? Robert, you want to take a guess?
I'm assuming the agent.
Correct. But be careful with that one because that one's deadly. The reason why you don't want to say the agent and you want to save it for last, let the seller say the agent. Because there's been times when I was young, early in this business, and I put my foot in my mouth and I said, the agent, and they're like, well, that's my wife. Now how I look like? Or that was my friend from 30 years and he didn't sell my house. How does Christmas look now? So be careful when you say number three, guys. So save it for the last. Hopefully they say between 1 and 2. But anyhow, yes, Robert. So expires. They're free. You could get them from your title rep. For sale by owners, are free. And actually, Zillow will give you those free leads, right? Or you use a third-party company called My Plus Leads, and they're like $40, and they'll email them to your CRM. Boom, you make the call. But those are my main lead sources right now, Robert. Of course, in Houster, you guys provide a lead source. Let's talk about you guys, right? You guys are there. You guys do a lot of training. You and David bring so much value to your agents. And I'm excited to see you guys grow. I really am.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. No, and we appreciate that. And I think it's important to understand too, what are the expired sources again? Can you say those again? The call is recorded, by the way, guys. We'll send it out, but can you repeat that again, Alfred?
Yeah, so depending how you guys work with, but you guys can get this from your title rep. Car is not gonna call, RISPA is not gonna call, but you could get a records from title. They'll send it to you for free. Depending, make sure of your title rep, you ask for it on a CSV form, so you could upload it to your dialer, whether you're using Mojo Dialer or any type of dialer out there. And once again, I'm not an affiliate, but if you're using a dialer system, ask for it on a CSV and upload it into your dialer. Another source where you could get it is free on Zillow, right? There's a lot of expired listings on Zillow, for sale by owners on Zillow. And then number three, I use a third-party company called My Plus Leads. Once again, it's called My Plus Leads. I only get expires in certain counties and for sale by owners in certain counties, but I spend about $70 a month, and I get about an average about 1,000 leads a month, average. Now, in the beginning of the month, you'll get a couple hundred. It's funny how every first of the month I get a couple hundred. A matter of fact, I can even open it up later on. But every first of the month, there's always a couple hundred expired listings.
Yeah, also another resource that we've used ourselves is Redix. They provide you with not only, and disclaimer, we are an affiliate, but yeah, Redix is another great tool. It provides you with the data. It already gives you a dialer. Batch dialer is another good dialer that you guys can use. You can call 3 numbers at a time. And then Alfred, how long do you need to make calls for daily in order to get at least, let's say I want to get a listing in the next 30 days. I want to get a listing appointment, because getting a listing appointment is the first step. Getting the listing done and signed, I guess that's a whole level of training as well. So if I wanted to get a listing appointment in the next 30 days, what should an agent do right now, starting today? What should they do in order to get that listing appointment in 30 days or less?
The answer to your question is pick this little phone up. It's your friend. You can make millions of dollars picking up this phone. But in all seriousness, you got to call. The best way to say it, Robert, is for me is call in sessions. And what do I mean by that is I have 90-minute intervals, right? So I normally start calling people about 9 o'clock because I don't want to piss people off. Okay? You don't want to call people too early. 9 o'clock is a decent time to call. Call for 90 minutes. And if you don't get any answers, always leave a message. Okay? But when you're making your calls, whether you're hand dialing or you're using a fancy dialer, you want to touch the person 4 times. So for example, when I'm calling an expired, I call, they don't answer, I leave a message. Then I text them with my phone number, and then I told them a message saying that I just called, that I'm interested in the home, that they're still accepting offers with my digital business card. Then I record a video. I already have recorded videos on BombBomb, which is a third-party company, full disclosure. I'm not an affiliate with them. But BombBomb, it's great to create videos, and you could create a library, and you could send it in 4K to an iPhone and Android, and it still looks in 4K. And number 4, of course, an email. You want to send an email. You could attach the video from BombBomb. But yes, you need to touch somebody 4 times, right? Because people say, Alfred, well, I call and they don't call me back. Well, yeah, there's 30 other agents calling them, but how many are emailing, texting, video, and voicemail dropping? Not that many of them. One of them only touch them 2 times, and guess what? Tomorrow, a new batch of expires comes in, and then you're back on the new ones, and then you forget about the old ones. Remember, when you're calling an expired, the expired, you want to call even people that 3 months old. Those are still good because they haven't sold. So you still want to go back to the past to make those calls, right? But that's very important, Robert. Hopefully that answers your question.
No, absolutely it does. And I think that last thing that you mentioned, I've talked to a few agents, and sometimes they even have more success with 3-month, 6-month-old expired just because not every agent is bugging them, right? As soon as their house expires, how many times are they going to get called by agents, right? And like Alfred mentioned, by doing these extra things, yes, it's a lot of additional work. It is more steps in your process. But the question is, do you want to get a listing appointment or not, right? Alfred is giving you exactly what he does to get these many appointments a week. If you can do 30% of what he's showing you today, you should be able to get consistent enough to get and land that one conversation.
Here's a quick story, guys. Actually, I got 2 quick stories for you guys. So check it out. When you're following up with leads or you're making calls, right? We all want to get paid in 30 days, right? I'm assuming everybody here, we all want to get a check in the next 30 days, right? So the way you're only going to do that, there's several other ways that it'll be a whole different Zoom, but right now, if you want to get paid in the next 30, 60, 90 days, it's the more contacts you make, the more contracts you're going to have. It's a numbers game. How many people are you talking to? Because you can have a fancy dialer, which I'm okay with or not, but you don't want to burn through your list and not talk to anybody and just check the box and say, well, Robert, I called 100 people and nobody called me back. No. It's not about how many people you dialed. It's how many conversations did you have? Did you talk to somebody? Did you follow up with them? How did you follow up with that person, right? It's every contact is the contract, Robert. Now, if you want to get paid in the next 90 days, here's free stuff that I'm going to give you. Number 1, go door knock in your neighborhood. Put market reports, a free home evaluation. Have a call action on your flyer. Don't just promote, just list it, just sold. No, put, hey, would you like a free home evaluation? Scan this barcode. Now you get a lead. That's 1. Door knocking. It's very, very good to get lead source. Do open houses for other agents, even if they're not in your office. Open houses are gold. People are going. I'm actually doing an open house again this week. We're averaging about 60 to 70 people. The reason people are going to open houses is because they want to buy. There's a lot of new programs out there. There's a lot of new buyers. So you want to be in front of a lot of people. Door knocking, open houses, do open houses during the week. because remember, the business owner does not take the weekends off. They take a weekday off, right? Normally Monday and Tuesday, they take the day off. So if you're doing an open house on a Monday, and let's say I'm a business owner and I'm on my way to the bank to drop off all the money I made for my restaurant, and I see an open house, guess what? Once I go deposit my money, I'm going to go visit you because I have nothing else to do. And now you met me, your future investor or a buyer, and I'm a real cash buyer. Now we develop a report, because here's another thing, Robert. When we're in an open house, and sometimes the open houses are busy, we don't get to talk to everybody at the open house, right? It's fair to say, guys, I've done an open house 2 weeks ago in Chino Hills where I have almost 40 people, and I have people actually waiting outside, and I couldn't talk to everybody. So I lost a couple deals there, because remember, the reason why you're in an open house is actually an audition for your next contract. You're not there at an open house saying, oh, I'm going to find the buyer, I'm going to get into escrow. Great if you do, great if you double-end it. But you're there for an audition for your next contract. Whether it's the nosy neighbor wanting to sell or a new buyer that say, you know what, I want to buy a house for my family. But hopefully that I have so much information, so shoot them at me. If you need me to say it again, I'll say it again. But I can tell you a lot of free ways, because I know also being an agent is expensive, right? Our MLS dues, our CRM, our cell phone, our Wi-Fi, we're printing, we're paying for an office. I mean, you got to do the free stuff. And the free stuff is door knocking. It's free. The open houses are free. Expires are free. For sale by owners are free. Going to free seminars are free. I mean, I could go on and on, guys. But yeah, Robert, I want to get to your next question. I want to make sure I overpromise and over-deliver with value. I told you before we got on Zoom, guys, and this is me all the time. I'm high energy even though I'm sitting down. The reason why I'm like this is because I'm obsessed to help people. My job is to service people. I don't care about how many transactions I did last year, because it was over 100, but nobody cares how many houses I sold. People want to know how I can help them and service them genuinely, because the last thing you want to do is, as a listing agent that I am, is have commission breath. People are going to sense that. Is Alfred really here to help me, or he's just trying to get another paycheck and move on to the next client?
Yeah, and I think that's a very important point, right? Are you coming from a place of value? And people sense that, and most sellers, they want to interview more than one agent. What sets you apart? And I think I had a call with Alfred just a couple of days ago, and you told me you were coming off of a listing appointment, right? And I think what you said really was really good, because you said, I didn't go to sell, I went to provide value. And I'm gonna do my best to showcase what I can do for them, as opposed to the fastest way to make money. And when you think about it that way, your mindset shifts, right? You're not really looking, although we all want to get paid in the next 30 days. If you're not going with that mentality that, hey, look, I need to close this deal like right now because I need to get paid. I need a paycheck in my bank account. When you start shifting from a commission to a value proposition way of doing things, the business just starts to pile up and they starts to come. You start to get calls. You start to get more and more conversations, which is what you need. The more conversations, numbers game, the more conversations you have about real estate right now, the more business that you are going to have in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months. So it may take a little bit to get going, but once you get there, it just keeps rolling down, that hill with you, where you're getting more and more contacts, you're getting more people to talk to, and eventually you start to close more deals. I'm sure Alfred has been doing this for a while, and it wasn't always this successful, but consistency is key, right? Do it consistently, practice, 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 and you will get the results that you're looking for. Now, as far as questions, guys, please post them in the chat if you have any specific questions for Alfred. I mean, we've talked about a few little things. I know we have a couple people here on the call who have done open houses, and we are going to do a training as to what to do before the open house, what to do during the open house, and what to do after the open house. Also, when you're making calls to expireds, I know Alfred has also a process to, after he's made that call, what do you do after you've talked to them, Alfred? Like, do you just leave it at that, book the appointment, and you're good to go? What do you do? What's your process after that?
So here it is, guys. Let's just say in the perfect world, I talk to somebody, right? I talk to the seller. He's pissed off. Okay. So what you guys want to do is you want to ask that seller the right questions, right? You want to ask them, hey, can I see the property? When can I see the home? Did you do does the property have any updates in the last 5 years that you did to the property? Right? You want to probe. You want to find out why this house didn't sell, especially in expired. He's going to be mad. And he's going to say, hey, don't waste my time, Robert. If you don't have a buyer, guys, don't lie that you have a buyer. If you don't have a buyer, say, hey, Mr. Seller, to be honest with you, I don't have a buyer, but I know how to sell homes. Are you familiar with the way I sell homes in this area? Right? Because if you're telling them you have a buyer and you don't have a buyer, you're already lying. And remember, it only takes one reason to catch a liar. You don't want to show up with being a liar. Number two is give them value. Say, hey, listen, I understand your house didn't sell the first time around. And that happens to a lot of houses, right? Are you still interested in selling? Why are you selling? Because a motivated seller is going to sell. A non-motivated seller is not going to sell. What do I mean by that? A 1031 exchange is not a motivated seller. A motivated seller is somebody that says, hey, Robert, I just got a new job in Texas, and I need to sell my house because I'm starting in March. That is a motivated seller. Another one, hey, Robert, I'm getting divorced. I hate my wife. I need to sell this house so that she can leave me alone and we could go our separate ways. Or number three, the ones that I hate, that I still have to deal with, is a family member died. You know, they didn't have a trust. Now you have the kids fighting for the money. They haven't buried the parent. And now you have to sell the house and you have to have all of them to agree. But what am I mean by that? It's asking the right questions, right? It's asking the right questions. So there's a lot of reasons why homes are expired. There's a lot of reasons why for sale by owners are selling. I could give you a ton of reasons, but he who asks the right questions controls the conversation. So one of the things that I like to say is like, why are you selling? Why is it important for you to sell? How soon do you want to sell? What are you looking for in your agent that you hire to help you sell your home? What exactly are you looking for into them? So, Robert, that when I made that call to you that day that we talked, by the way, I got the listing.
Nice.
I got the text, I got the listing. The family, you know, this house belongs to their 95-year-old dad. He took a drive to a post office and never came back home.
Oh, wow.
So now I met with the kids. I thought I was only meeting with the one daughter, but it was all 7 kids were there. They all asked me questions. And because like Robert said before, because I trained so much, I have embedded every single scenario in my brain that I knew how to respond to any questions they asked. You know, that's where your confidence, you're building confidence too as you're learning your scripts. It's a confident builder because you become a closer. You learn how to close. And in sales, especially what we do, we don't get paid if we don't close. You know, we only get paid if we close escrow and you still get your check and it still clears. Because I know escrow companies that pay and that check bounces like a basketball. But in reality, guys, it's training every day, showing up to these Zoom calls with Robert and David, and trying to consume as much as you can, and you know, just be the resource. Start with your circle of influence, your family. If you're a new agent, I don't know how many new agents are in here. Your number one resource is your family and friends, right? Start calling. Call at least 3 people a day. Hey, like, hey, Delia, I don't know if you know, but I do real estate now. Do you know anybody who's thinking about buying, or do you know anybody who's thinking about selling, or anybody that might need my resources? Make those calls. Follow up with your friends, right? If you're a seasoned agent, for the seasoned agents, first of all, I want to thank you for your service, because I believe we're like vets, right? You guys are like vets. And the only thing with seasoned agents, I always ask them is this, because they tell me, oh, you only been in the business 4 years. How are you doing better than me? Well, my question for a seasoned agent is, just like every business after years in business, have a re-grand opening? When is your re-grand opening? When are you going to rewire your brain? Because the same scripts that work 4 years ago don't work right now. Do not use a 2023 playbook in 2024. It's not going to work, because just like the market changes, your language needs to change. The way you think you need to change. Who are you listening to? You wake up in the morning. Are you working out? Are you drinking a lot of water? Like me, I drink a ton of water. I feel like a water fountain. But that's how I have all this energy, guys. I really don't drink coffee. I'm very animated, and once again, this is what I love to do. I do see some questions, Robert, over here. I don't know if you want to, from Carlos and Yvette and Charles. I want to make sure that we answer the questions.
Yeah, and absolutely. That's kind of what we're here for, guys. It's all these, the more interactive we make them, the better. And it really caters to you specifically, right? So we do have an agent, expired sources. Again, you already answered that. Charles is asking, have you ever had to deal with an unethical agent?
Yes, Charles, to answer your question,
This is
I don't
recorded,
like,
by the way.
okay. Yes. To answer your questions, I don't like agents, but I have to work with them, right? Just kidding. Yes, unfortunately, in our business, there is going to be people who are unethical, that are going to stab you in the back, or you guys are probably not in the same page. Unfortunately, that comes with our business. But here's one thing. Here's one thing I could reassure you. Always do the right thing. Always do the right thing. Don't react to them. Put your head down. Get to work, because I truly believe God has a plan. And sometimes things need to happen in order for the plans that God has for you to come to you. Like they say, when one door closes, three of them will open. So I'm very great question, Charles.
All right, cool, cool. We have another one, and then we have another one in the live group as well. So thanks, Alfred. A couple questions. What CRM are you using? That's always a great question. What nurturing system did you implement, and who is your mentor? Oh, and also opinion on, well, let's take this one, and then CRM. So what CRM are you using right now?
Okay. I've been using Follow Boss since I was in this journey. The reason why I like Follow Boss is because, first of all, it's affordable. It's $69.99 a month. I use it as a Rolodex. What do I mean by that? I don't know if you guys know what a Rolodex is, but back in the days, people used to store people's information on little cards, and it had a Rolodex with the alphabet letters on it. And number two, I think Follow Boss also has a great task reminder. So when my lead comes, for example, a lead comes in from a website, it hits Follow Boss, and then Follow Boss is triggered based on the hashtag from that lead source to send an email and a text right away to that client. Because remember, any internet lead, it's called speed to the lead. Money likes speed, right? Money loves speed. So you have to move fast. So if you can afford a great CRM, but once again, Follow Boss is $69.99. Another one that I strongly recommend, it's KV Core. KV Core it's a CRM that I've been using. It has its own personal IDX, which means it's your own landing page with your website. It has ringless voicemail drops that you can create, where you can send out ringless voicemails. You build a library, and you push a button, and your client's phone will ring and then go straight into your voicemail. It has bomb integration. It has video integration. It has an email blast integration. It has, you could also sync it to Craigslist, Facebook. You could do also marketing from KV Core. I mean, it's your one-stop shop, but guys, it's a little pricey. It's about $500 a month. You could also partner up with it with your lender, because for $500 you get 2 seats. You could be you and your lender, or you and your spouse, or another listing agent and buyer agent, but it's $500 a month. So those are the two that I use. I know there's a lot of great ones out there, but the ones I use is KV Core and Follow Boss. And then my mentors, great question, Carlos. Um, you know, one of my biggest mentors, of course, it's 10X Mr. Grant Cardone. I think this man has taught me so much. You know, when I took his mentorship almost 2 years ago, I paid $25,000. And the biggest investment you guys can do is in yourself, guys. because when it's going wrong, the only person you could blame is you, because there is opportunities out there. Okay, there's opportunities out there. I don't care what market we're in. We're right now, Robert. We're in pre-COVID. What does that mean? What happened during pre-COVID? A lot of buyers in the market, less inventory, supply and demand. Right now, as these new programs roll in, as the summer rolls in, as spring rolls in, everybody's going to be buying. It's going to be a bidding war. You need to be in front of that race. Who are you going to be, a listing agent or a buyer agent, right? And who you feed yourself in the morning, Carlos. This is very important. I love Tony Robbins. Okay, I see him as a mentor. I like Ed Milet. Ed Milet, I love his principles and core values. Grant Cardone. The reason why Grant is because I learned sales from him. He's not teaching me motivation. It's sales. Okay, but why am I saying all these individuals? Because it all comes together. It interlocks, because I can have the nicest office, the best phone, the best computer, but if my mind is not right, I can't function. And that's what you guys got to think about. Who are you listening to the morning, right? It's very important. Who do you listen to? Are you listening to a motivational speech on YouTube? Are you listening to some great Audible books? Think and Grow Rich is not about getting rich. It's about your mindset. But because of the book, you're like, oh, maybe it's going to tell me how to be rich. No, it's not. The 101 Ways of Closing a Deal with Grant Cardone. It's teaching me. It's teaching. I actually, guys, to be honest with you, I used to drive 4 hours a day. Robert knows. I used to travel a lot. I turned my car into a library. I have over 200 Audible books. I read a lot. I read a lot. And when I have a negative thought, I replace it with a good thought. So who you're listening to is very important. Carlos, to answer your question too, is become part of a community, right? Housester. If you guys do not have the app, download this app. It's called Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a great app. There's rooms throughout the whole day. It's basically a room where you go in, has everybody's little picture, and there's different rooms, right? There's real estate rooms, commercial rooms, therapy rooms. Anyways, you go into these rooms and you listen to people role playing, people talking about commercial, whatever you're in, but education, training, and learning, practice, drill every morning is very important. So, Carlos, hopefully that answers your question. We'll move on to the next question.
Well, actually, Carlos also had a question about what you think about mailers with QR code and who's a good source. I think that's, yeah, well, I think you talked about that, right? Mailing people stuff, or actually you haven't.
Okay, so once again, it all depends on your budget, right? Let me go back to that, because I train about 150 agents on a weekly basis, and it's tough, guys. You're being an agent, you're running a business, and there's costs to it, right? So let's talk about the ones that can't afford it. Okay, if you can't afford mailers, my suggestion is for the ones that can and can't. A QR code is great, right? A QR code is more of a landing. It's gonna reroute the lead to you wherever you want it to go route it. But QR codes is great. The way I use one of my QR codes is, would you like to know what your house is worth? Scan here. Now people scan it. It takes them to my website, and it'll say, input your address, and you'll get a CMA within minutes. That's the lead capture, right? I'm using the QR code to lead capture. If you're using a mailer, there's great companies out there. There's one called Rusty Pelican. I tried it for 6 months. Always tried it for 6 months. And just put, hey neighbor, I'm your realtor, I'm your neighbor, or whatever. However you want to say. There's a lot of beautiful templates out there. What else? What else can you do, right? Besides QR codes and mailer, I think just door knocking. Choose the farm area, but at least give it 6 months, guys. It's not gonna happen just because you sold. And here's a thing from one of my agents in my office, without saying any names. He sent out a 5,000 mailer, got 0 calls. 0 calls. He's thinking, oh, I'm gonna send out 5,000 mailer. I just spent $1,700 in the post office, and my flyer looks fancy. 0 calls, right? It's something. If you're gonna do mailers, be consistent, but try it between 3 to 6 months. Don't just say in 1 month and you didn't get no calls, you don't try it. It's not going to work. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent, Robert. Another thing, here's a little gold nugget. Write this one down because I'm going to try it. Normally, Domino's Pizza, and I'm going to use Domino's Pizza as an example. When you order a pizza, you get a coupon with it, right, Robert? Well, now Domino's Pizza is, if you contact the manager because they're franchise, you can literally, I have a company that I'm working with, for $550, they print out 36,000 coupons. Now, one of the sides of the coupon is going to show the Domino specials, and the other side is going to say Alfred's information. Now, I just spent $536 on 36,000 coupons. Imagine if I just get one call, my ROI on that, Robert. So once again, to answer your question, it all depends on your budget, Carlos. I mean, we could go elaborate or just do the free stuff, man. Do the free stuff, but do more of it. Always have 5 fishing lines out there, right? You got door knocking, open houses, circle of influence, expires, for sale by owners, and houster as your lead source. So have as many fishing lines as you can out there, and you're going to catch a fish.
And with what you just said, being consistent, it's important, right? Try it out for a good period of time. It's not, you're not going to get results overnight. You have to try it over. I was just listening to, not listening, I'm part of this group, and this loan officer, she's not a real estate agent, just a loan officer, not just a loan officer. And one of the things she does at the beginning of every single year is she handwrites notes to her sphere, past clients. And she says that within the, after she does it, within the next 30 days, she gets deals, because what she does is she puts 8 business cards with each note asking the people to share her business card. And within 30 days, she gets business. And she does it every single year. Did every single year get business? Probably not, but her consistency is what gets her the results.
Here it is, Robert. You just hit it. This is a handwritten letter from me with a professional stamp. That's 1 listing. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. You guys get the picture. Robert's right. Every time I talk to a potential listing or seller, I always send them a handwritten letter. Now, you could get 200 of these on Amazon from recycled paper. You could get 200 of these for $30. Now, when you make it personal, like Mr. Robert, thank you so much for taking my call. I look forward to hearing from you soon, or whatever that message is. That's more personable with Robert. Now I'm building a relationship with him. And guess what? I'll send it to Robert on a Monday. I'll call him on a Friday. Hey, Robert, by the way, did you get my postcard? That's another reason to follow up, guys. Don't always just follow up and say, hey, are you ready to sell? Hey, are you ready to sell? They're going to hang up on you, or you're just going to become very transactional. So yes, Robert, you hit the nail on the head.
And if you have a little bit more, a bigger budget, what is one thing that you include in some of those scratchers?
Oh, okay. So here's what I do. I always put a $2 scratcher for Monopoly, right? Real estate Monopoly. So I put a $2 scratcher, but Robert, just so you know, because I know the laws are changing, I'm actually just putting a $5 Starbucks card, and I put, hey, Mr. Robert, coffee on me. I hope you're doing well. $5 is a $5 investment on an $800,000 house, guys. Think about that for a little bit. Let it sink in for a little bit. Every time you don't pick up that phone and call Mr. Robert, that's a $20,000 check right there. Think about that for a little bit, right? When you're in an open house and you're there for 4 hours, what are you doing? Are you on scrolling to see what am I doing? Or are you there following up and waiting for somebody to walk in? You got to think about that. If I get the buyer for this 800, let's say I'm doing this one on Saturday in Rancho, right? So the seller says, Alfred, it's going to be raining. I said, great. I ain't made out of sugar. You know why am I going to do an open house on a rainy day? Because people are going to be bored. And the only people that are going to show up to my open house are the serious buyers, because there's opportunities there. Or this morning when I was at that seminar, oh my God, it's raining. Oh, I didn't feel like waking up. You know what somebody like me would say? Perfect. Everybody's home. I'm going to go door knocking in the rain. And when they see me door knocking, Alfred, poor thing, come inside, sit down. Now I'm going to be like, all right, now that I'm here, are you ready to sign with me? Guys, it's how you think, okay? It's how you guys think. It's who you're listening to. What you're like Carlos said, who's your mentor? Choose one and go with that one. There's a lot of great ones out there, but choose one, learn from him or her, and then move on to the next one. Because remember, I am not the same guy I was last year, Robert. Remember, Robert? You've seen my journey. I've been changing. I'm different, guys. When I walk into a room, I'm so confident that I can answer any question at any given time in Spanish and in English. So be that person. Remember, just be that person. You guys all got what it takes. You're here right now. You're investing in yourself. Ask these questions because I'm telling you what I'm sharing with you. I spent, and Robert, you know this, me and my partner, we spent almost $250,000 in the last 3 years. I was looking at my 1099s and everything I got in the last 3 years. I spent over $250,000 in training. This is just training because that money is not in my bank account. My wife's like, how do you make so much money? But where is it at? My mentors have it because I'm investing in myself. I'm investing here. You are the biggest investment. So get together in these groups that Robert and David put together. Remember, don't be a jackass. Be a jackass. Ask questions. Now, real quick, Robert, to deviate, does anybody have an objection that the reason why, let's say, for example, Deanna, is that how you pronounce it? Let's say Deanna, because she has her camera on, and I know Xiomara has her camera on. Let's say there's the objection that you're scared. That's why you haven't made that call to that buyer or seller. What is one thing that because agents have call reliance, right? They don't want to call because they're scared because they don't know what to say. But if I can say, Deanna, if I can give you the nuggets to know what to say, would you make that call? I think she's on mute. Is she on mute?
Can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I said, of course.
So what is that one thing that prevents you? And I'm not saying you don't make calls because I can see your headset. What is that one thing that prevents you from making a call? Like what scares you or what worries you before making that call?
I guess first of all, I could say that very, the who are you? Like, where you got my number from? Why are you calling me? I guess that's the main that we get basically.
Okay. And who are you calling? Who's your audience?
Well, I work in house.
Okay.
So we call
so I'm your
buyers,
so you're calling an agent, right?
yes.
Or
No,
buyers.
we call
Buyers.
buyers. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you call the buyer, what's the first thing you say? I'm gonna give you some gold right now. What is the first thing that comes out of your mouth when you're calling that buyer?
Basically, I'm gonna throw my script here.
Okay, I'm gonna ring you in. You call me. I'm a buyer. Check it out. I'm gonna save you so much time. Ring, ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, Alfred.
Yes, who's calling?
Hi, my name's Diane. I'm calling in from Houster. The reason I'm calling in is because I've noticed your interest in one of our properties, and we would like to know if you have any questions for it.
Oh no, I'm just browsing.
Oh, really? Because I actually see here that you've been browsing through
Pause.
property 123.
Pause. You failed. So
Damn.
this is just a little rehearsal, okay? So what you want to do is when you call me, right? I'm a buyer. I was on house. So I'm gonna ring you now, okay? Now you're the buyer. I'm you. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hello, may I speak to Diana?
Yes.
Hey, Diane, how are you? Thank you so much for taking my call. This is Alfred Hauster. The reason for my call is I noticed you were on my website looking at properties here in Victorville. Is there any other cities that you're interested in? And to make sure I'm not wasting your time, are you smiling? I'm just throwing that out there. But do you see how it goes? Like, hey, to make sure I'm not wasting your time, I noticed you're looking at some properties here in Victorville. Is there any other cities that you would love to look at? Because I would love to send you and email you a list of homes. You wanna open up with value, right? And if they say no, I'm just browsing. Great, tell me more about that. Okay, one more role play. One more role play.
Well, why don't we pick someone else from the audience? Anybody who has take advantage of this.
Great job,
Alfred,
Dan.
Thank you.
Alfred is a master of role playing, and he's proven it time and time again. So if you guys have an objection you guys get? I feel like I'm bothering people. Carlos says that when he calls, he feels like I'm bothering. That's actually a good, sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Alfred. I'll let you take it.
I love this one. I hear it all the time. So the reason why you feel like bothering somebody, Carlo, to answer your question, is because how you show up in your personal life is how you show up in your business life. I'm gonna repeat that one more time. The reason why you feel like you're bothering people is because just like you show up in your personal life, that's how your clients is gonna show up in your business life. I'll give you an example. You walk into a mall, right? To a shoe store. What does the little teenager do? Can I help you with something? What does Carlos do? No, I'm just looking. Carlos, isn't that familiar? Like when you make your calls in your business, don't people brush you off? And I'm not sure if you can talk, but that happens, Carlos. Instead of saying that young kid comes into you at the mall, at the shoe store, hey, Carlos, what are you looking for today? Oh, you know what? Where's your clearance rack? I'm looking for some shoes just for the gym that I can beat up. See, now that's different because you didn't walk into the shoe store just to go window shopping. I'm sure you went there for a reason. Just like somebody went on your website, just like somebody went to your open house. And don't feel like you're bothering somebody. You're not bothering, you're servicing them. If you know you have the right deal for somebody and I'm your buyer and you know, Carlos, that I've been looking for this triplex and you know about it in your office, why won't you give me a call and say, hey, Alfred, this is Carlos. The reason for my call is we just got a new property. It's off market. Hey, Alfred, I don't know if it's for you, but you crossed my mind and this property meets your criteria and I would hate for you not to take a look at it. Can I email it to you right away? So that's how you have to think, Carlos. You're not bothering anybody. We're all busy. Everybody's busy. But yes, our best clients are the busiest ones because those have our money. The ones that say, Carlos, oh yeah, let's talk about real estate. Those are the ones that have nothing going on. People that have all the time in the world are broke people. Do not talk to broke people. Talk to busy people. Those are the ones that got your money, Carlos. So go get it.
That's great stuff, man. Great stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. We've been here for
Great
about an hour
questions.
now. There is no way we're gonna be able to cover everything, but if you at least got or implement at least 10 to 20% of what we talked about, you will see changes in your business, right? The main thing that I got from this is be consistent. Be consistent, practice, role play, and most importantly, find a good mentor or find a good community to be around with people who are where you want to be, right? They say
Like-minded
that
people.
like-minded people is where you're gonna get there. If you hang out with people who are not closing business, if you're hanging out with people who are not where you need to be, guess what? You're gonna go backwards. You're not gonna go forwards like you're supposed to. So, Alfred, I know we've taken about an hour of your time. You're probably gonna miss out on a few prospecting clients, but we appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully, we can have you again here in a couple more weeks, a few more weeks. We're probably going to change up the topic to kind of talk a little bit more about different things, different structures. So for those of you who are here or watching us on the replay or watching us live on Real Closers on the replay on YouTube, if you want to be part of this community, join us every Thursday at 12 p.m. Pacific. Just post a comment, ask for the link, or give us your email. We'll send you an invite. We're putting a lot of things together, not only for our own agents, but for every agent who wants to level up 2024. Alfred is doing it right now. There is no reason why we can't do the same. As long as you can what is that one thing you say before we leave? You're not the best. You don't have to be the best agent.
You don't, no, you don't, in order, you don't have to be the best agent, but here's one thing. Here's a takeaway. Here's a couple takeaways before we close this out real quick. Number one, if you guys can take away from this cause, write your goals down. Because when you're having a bad day, Carlos and everybody here, that you are going to have a bad day. You don't know when it's coming, but you will. Write your goals down. Because if you have goals, when you have a bad day, you just go back and review them. Why are we doing this? So remember, write your goals daily because those are going to be a reminder why you're doing this. Number two, here's a takeaway. Here's a takeaway. Remember, what's your why? Why are you doing this? When you tap into your why, everything else will come into fruition, right? Robert, everything will happen for you. It's going to happen for you, but you need to show up, stay committed, make the calls, ask the questions, and just smile and dial. Make it fun. Remember, when the first rules is when you're calling, hopefully you're calling, you're standing up, because when you're laying down like this, people want to talk to exciting people. So I truly believe when you make your calls, stand up, make your calls, get comfortable, right? Environment is everything. Have some your family pictures, some motivational stuff. I don't know where you guys are calling from because I know some people are remote. Environment is everything when you're calling. And once again, warm up. Role play with somebody. Role play with somebody in this room. Find a role play room. There's lots of them. But at the end of the day, guys, continue to show up, continue to smile and dial, and continue to join these trainings with Robert, because I'm sure we're going to have another discussion. Maybe our next one topic would be how to handle objections. I think that's the number one thing, right? The objections is it's what really causes chaos in the realtor's life. How to handle objections.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest ones we've encountered over the last,
Yeah.
months and months and months. It's always what I don't know what to say. I don't know what the question is going to be, but honestly, we already know what the answers are. We already know what the questions are going to be. All you have to do is just be here with us. All right. So, Alfred, again, thank you so much for
Thank
spending
you,
this time
guys.
with us. I hope everybody gets the value that you expected from the title that we put together. Our team kind of came up with that to get, more eyes on our stuff. And you should do the same. Be here with us next week. We'll also do a Tuesday meeting at 10 a.m. If you want to get the invites, let us know. We'd be more than happy to continue to have you here. Thank you again, Alfred. I know I'll be talking to you soon again, and then hopefully we can get you back in another couple weeks or something.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you guys for showing up, and on to the next. Make it a great day. Nothing else pays, right?
That's right.
Let's go.
All
Peace
right, man.
out.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys.